Oh yeah, my bingos. Yeah, boy. That's right. Welcome back to the channel, my friends. Welcome back to the vlog. This is a beautiful day in California. That's right. Fresno, California. This is a Dragonfly Golf Course. This is the golf course where I am a member. They just recently set up, within the last 3 months, they set up this beautiful canopy right above our head. And it's a beautiful thing because it allows us to practice in the shade. So this is a 3-bucket day. Actually, it was a little bit more than 3 buckets because towards the end of the session, I really discovered some things right around ball, maybe 270. And so I just kept pushing through because once I really feel that something is good and that I've discovered something, that I just continue to push through until I feel comfortable with whatever it is that I discovered. And I did discover something on this day because I pushed through. And sometimes that is what is necessary, is you've just got to push through. So I will address Humberto Gomez. He sent me a message. And sorry guys, I sound really stuffed up because it is 7 o'clock in the morning right now and my allergies are just bonkers in the morning. Anyway, Humberto asked me if, hey, Hua Golf, I'm a 13-year-old and my handicap is 12. If I reach scratch before 16, do I have a chance of getting a scholarship? Yes, my friend. Yes, you do. Absolutely. You are 13 years old. You have 3 years to go. In 3 years, you could lower your handicap significantly, easily. You could lower your handicap. Remember, in my 10K hour video, in the first 4 years, I went from shooting mid-90s, and I got my handicap down to almost, I think, around a 7 or a 6. So if you're already a 12, my goodness, Humberto, in 3 years, you could really get to begin shooting under consistently. You just have to practice really diligently, disciplined, and hard. I wrote you a message. If you're practicing 2 hours a day, yeah, increase it to 4. And be consistent, be disciplined. Make sure you write down your goals. So this is what I suggest you do. Write down your goals on a piece of paper and write down the goal is to get to 70. Don't write, my goal is to get to a scratch. Right below that. That way, if you miss, at least you will be at scratch. Right? My goal is to be at 70. My personal goal, Mikey Robles, Hua Golf, my goal is to shoot 65. I want to be shooting 68s and 67s consistently. And I will. It's just a process. Shoot under. Make your goal 70, okay? And then write down 3 to 5 things that'll help you get there. Practicing 4 hours a day is definitely going to do it. I can guarantee you, if you're in high school, the majority of kids your age are not practicing that hard. I see a lot of high school kids at this golf course, Dragonfly Golf Course. I see a lot of kids come through. There's one kid in particular who practices harder than everybody else. And I see him often. Actually, there's 2, I'm sorry. One of them is so young that his parents drop him off and he just practices like crazy. He practices all day and that's all he does, and he's a really good player. The other kid drives and he practices, I would say, as much as I do, if not more, because I see him there all of the time. I haven't seen him in a while, and this guy's a really good player. He's a scratch golfer. So I will tell you that 80% of your competition, Humberto, is not going to practice more than 2 hours a day. I can guarantee you that. How do I know this? Because I'm at the golf course every day. I see people, I watch who my competition is, I watch what people are doing, what they're doing right, what they're doing wrong. I'm very observant, even though I got my head down and I'm practicing all the time. Believe me, I'm looking around and I'm watching people all of the time, and I can tell you without a doubt that if you practice more than 2 hours, you will be in the top 20 percentile. So let's talk about the Pareto principle, my friends. Okay, 80% of the time, you will wear only 20% of the clothes that is in your closet. Okay, this goes to the Pareto principle, the 80-20 rule. 80% of the time, you will wear 20% of the clothes that is in your closet. In other words, you have 3 pairs of pants that you really like, and one of them is your absolute favorite. Say you have 10 shirts, you actually only wear about 2 to 3 of them consistently. The other ones kind of sit back and wait for some game time, but they don't make it into the game very often because you have your favorites. 20% of the drivers on the road are causing 80% of the accidents. You know who they are. They drive really fast. They swerve in and out of traffic. They're driving like dickheads. Okay? 80% of the accidents are caused by 20% of the drivers. That's the Pareto principle. I'm not going to put a whole lot of information on it. If you want to research it yourself, you should. All right? What I'm telling you is, this goes back to golf now and competition. All you have to do is practice harder than 80% of the field. Be in the top 20% of the hard workers, and you're always going to be on top. That is my philosophy. I follow the Pareto principle very carefully. Yeah? I practice harder than 80% of the field. And actually, I practice harder than 98% of the field. That is a fact. Pareto, what I'm telling you is, practice harder than 80% of the field, and you will be at the top 20% of your competition all of the time. And once again, I will address it, is there aren't very many kids in high school, and I see very good players out at this golf course, they don't practice more than 2 hours. So all you have to do is practice 3 hours and preferably 4 hours per day. Now, if that means you got to putt for 2 hours and beat balls for another 2 hours, do it. Do what you have to do. But all you have to do is practice harder than 80% of the people. Kind of start looking around, see who your competition is, see who the best players are that surround you. Start paying attention to how much they practice and practice 1 hour more than they do. That is the key to success. Yeah? This is a 3-bucket day. This right here is actually my second bucket. I didn't record my first bucket, or I didn't record it entirely just because I was trying to warm up and I was just getting going. But this is my second bucket on the day. I ended up hitting 3.5 buckets, maybe 325 balls. That's a little bit more than typical for me. Usually I hit 2 buckets per day, which is about 100, 200. It's 100 balls per bucket. And I usually hit 2 buckets per day. I've been doing this for 7.5 years or something like that. A long time. You'll have to build up to something like this. Hitting this many balls definitely wears me out, especially towards the end of the session. And especially the next day. The next day I'll wake up and my shoulders are really sore. My back is sore. My hands are very raw, just because they take the brunt of the the shock from hitting the ground and hitting the mat. But you will notice that over time you will begin to get used to it, and after a while you just dig so deep and so consistently and so disciplined that it just becomes the norm. And once it becomes the norm, oh my goodness, let me just tell you, it's a beautiful thing. During rounds, whenever I play, I rarely ever chunk balls. It's extremely rare. And it's not that I'm good. It's not that. I'm not patting myself in the back, my friends. The reason why is just that I beat so many balls that it just becomes natural. It becomes like whatever. It doesn't matter. It's just, and the only way to do that is just to get through a lot of buckets. Yeah, my amigos. So let's see. Dig deeper. Dig deeper. How many times have you seen this picture right here? Yeah, it's absolutely true, my friends. The only way to discover new things is you've got to dig deeper. There are things. The thing that Mo Norman discovered, the hitting the ball straight every single time, the feeling of greatness, the only way to get the feeling of greatness is to dig beyond what anybody else digs. See, Mo Norman wasn't special per se. There wasn't anything that he did that was unbelievable. Like, he didn't drive 350 yards, right? He didn't make every single putt. He didn't. The one thing that he did is just he worked harder than anybody else. He dug deeper. And the importance of that, there's no way I can tell you how important that is. Because the majority of people aren't going to do it. They're going to do the minimum. And then they're going to leave thinking, oh yeah, I practiced. That's enough. Oh, that's good enough. Yeah. No, it's not, in my opinion. It's not. You've got to dig deeper. You've got to dig deeper than 80% of the field. Goal is to discover what Mo Norman discovered, and that is the feeling of greatness. Yeah, you got to push yourself so it becomes the norm. You know, if your normal is hitting one bucket, and I understand golf is expensive, my friends, get ready to spend a lot of money because golf is very expensive. It takes a lot of time. Takes a lot of effort getting out of bed. I have to go practice. Yeah, that's what it takes. And really, this doesn't just apply to golf. This applies to acting and being a good accountant, or being a good carpenter, or a baseball player, or a great driver, or being good at academics. Whatever it is, playing a musical instrument, singing, it doesn't matter. It's just, it requires a lot of effort. Is it worth it? Yeah, absolutely. Believe me that it's worth it. Because the truth is that there isn't a lot of competition for us. If you work really hard, you'll begin to notice that there really isn't competition. Because the majority of people just don't dig deep. They just don't want it that bad. And so if you want it a little bit more than anybody else, believe me, you're going to get what you want. There isn't a lot of competition for you, my friends. There just isn't. If you really, really want something, it's not that difficult. Most people don't want it that bad. 90% of the field just doesn't fucking want it.
Do you think we can be better? Do you think we can be better? Do you think we can be better?
Friends, 90% of the field doesn't want it that bad. 90% of the field just will not dig deeper than what they see around them. You have to want it more than anybody else and just work harder. And believe me, it will come to you. You've just got to be patient. You've got to take some time and trust the process. Trust the process. Trust the effort. Trust that whenever you put in the time every single day, it will come to you. But you just gotta work harder. You gotta be more consistent. You've gotta be more disciplined. Okay? That's right, my friend. Yeah! Trial and error. Try different things, my friends. You can see right here, this goofy little thing that I'm doing. You see this little flip that I'm doing? Yeah, that's trial and error. I am trying new things all of the time. I get bored with stuff. My goal never changes. I get bored with things, and so I begin to play with stuff. And that's when you will begin to discover stuff, is when you start trying new things. I know, I'm holding the club in a very weird way. I've been doing this for about 1.5 years. It's called the claw grip. I might change it to the claw knuckle grip because a lot of people are familiar with the claw putting grip. So I want to differentiate. Believe that you saw it here first on Hua Golf. This claw grip, this claw knuckle grip, it's something that I've been working on for about 1.5 years. It's helping me a lot. Maybe I'll talk about it in the future once I really start discovering things and playing with it and shooting under. I will discuss it a little bit more in length, but at the moment it's just in beta phase. So, trial and error. That's why you see me practice with this mat. By the way, practicing with the mat, I've noticed that if I hit 100 golf balls, I would say 7 to 15 of those golf balls are going to be not hit very well because of the lie. And what happens there is that you'll end up hitting a ball incorrectly, or you'll stuff it, or you'll chunk it, Or you'll not hit it flush and you think that that's your swing. It's not. Sometimes it's just a lie. The lie is bad. So the way to get rid of that is I use a mat. And what I've noticed whenever I use the mat, it gives me more consistency, meaning that if I hit 100 balls on a mat, only 1 or 2 are going to be bad. And the only reason they're going to be bad is because the ball will be a little bit above my feet. So I will hit it wrong, yes, once in a while, but it will not be as bad as whenever I hit it off the ground, off the grass. Because the mat is going to be more consistent than the grass. You feel? Oh yeah. So, trial and error. You've got to try different stuff, keep practicing, keep working on things. And the only way to do that is you've got to get past the very minimum, which is, you know, an hour. I would say most people practice about an hour and a half on average. And then they want to go play. Yeah, you got to work harder than that. All right, let's continue. So yeah, I'm just rambling because I kind of want to show you guys that I'm hitting 3 buckets in a day. What does this mean? Not a whole lot, really. It's just practice. You know, it's just putting in the effort, putting in time. I have noticed that I enjoy whenever people make videos and they ramble on. Sometimes they're just getting stuff off of their mind. I enjoy watching that stuff, so long as it's positive or informative. Be it, you know, finance or mortgages or getting rid of your debt, working harder, reading more, or just investigative journalism. I love investigative journalism. And the reason I'm making this video is because I noticed that I enjoy people babbling about stuff, and sometimes we need it. This helps. This is hopefully going to help me. Who knows? Maybe I may make more of these. Bleh! I'm having trouble breathing out of my mouth. All right, let's continue. So, what do I practice? Typically, 80% of the time, and actually it's more like 90% of the time, you'll see that I'm hitting really short shots. I don't really hit beyond 100 yards because there's no need to. If I'm not hitting the ball straight 30 yards, 60 yards, 100 yards, you're not going to hit the ball straight 150, 180, 200, 225, 250. Forget about it. That's not the way it works, my friends. Hit the ball straight 30 yards first, 50 yards, 80 yards, 100 yards. But more importantly, hit the ball straight 30 yards. And if you really want to be a stickler about it, practice hitting the ball, practice rolling the ball 30 yards straight. Let's see if you can do that. Too many times I'm seeing guys trying to hit the hero shot in between trees, in between tree trunks, you know, in the rough. Yeah, that's not going to happen. Get the hell out of here with that crap. You know what I mean? You're not going to hit the hero shot every single time. You're only going to hit the hero shot probably about 3% of the time during a round. You're going to hit 1 great shot. If you get 3 great shots during a round, be happy with that. But the majority of the time, just hit it in the middle, my friends. Just hit the ball in the middle of the course. My goodness. Wow-wee. Yeah. Okay, so pitching wedge, 54-degree wedge. I hit my 9-iron, my 8-iron pretty consistently, but even when I practice with my 8-iron, I only hit it about 125 yards, which means that I back off. I back off of the target, and I will learn to hit it softer. What I really work on is rhythm. I don't think a lot of people talk about rhythm. I see a lot of YouTubers talk about, you're swinging it wrong. Start swinging it like this. This is what you're doing wrong. My friends, stop paying attention to that and just work on rhythm. 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 There is a rhythm to dancing. There's a rhythm to speech. There's a rhythm to driving. There's a rhythm to everything that you do. Okay? And there's definitely a rhythm is so underappreciated in golf. If more people worked on rhythm, you would get to scratch sooner. You would get to the 70s and you would get out of the 80s sooner. Because rhythm is extremely important in golf. Extremely important in golf. There's no way I can say that too many times. That's the way it goes. Yeah, so rhythm is extremely important in golf. It just absolutely is, and it is something that is truly underappreciated. It takes time to learn it. The only way to learn it is from someone who specializes in it. I wouldn't say that I specialize in it yet, but it is definitely the one thing that I practice the most. If you can see, I'm extremely disciplined here in my practice. I keep doing the same exact move. I will do this for 3 buckets. And then at the end, probably the last 40 to 25 balls, I'll begin to swing naturally and regular. But yeah, for the first 2 buckets, 3 buckets, all I do is work on rhythm. I'm not an expert, but I'm just a practitioner, and that's all it is. I just practice, and more practice. Oh yeah. That's right, my amigo. So I made a little list right here, and that's pretty much what I'm going off of. Let's get back to positivity, my friends. I think especially right now, during this time, we need more positivity. We need more positivity. There's a lot of negative crap on TV. Lots of negative crap. Lots of doom and gloom. The world is going to fall apart. The sky is falling. We're all going to die. You're all going to get sick. Blabbity, blabbity, blabbity. The number one thing that is really hurting people, guys, it's not a virus. It's not being out of work. The number one thing that is hurting people is fear. Stop being crippled by fear. Stop allowing people to dictate how you think, where you're going, what you're doing. Yeah, stop being crippled by fear, my friends. The TV, the media, news outlets, they live on fear. They love you being gripped by fear because it glues you to the TV. And then what happens is you watch commercials, which, by the way, is what I do. I make commercials. But what I'm trying to tell you guys is stop being gripped by fear. Stop thinking that the sky is falling. It's not. It's not. Everything's gonna be okay. You just gotta stay out of trouble. Go for high percentage choices. And what I mean by that is staying out of debt, saving your money, being proactive, working hard, working on increasing your skill set, work on laughing, on smiling, on watching fun stuff, watching positive stuff. There's a ton of motivational stuff online. Listen, just put it in the background and get to practicing. Turn it on, which is what I like to do. I like to turn on some positive affirmations. Just Google that, positive affirmations. Let it seep into your brain because your brain is a sponge. Yeah? Just begin practicing and then listen to it. Well, you can see how I'm starting to slow down here because I'm starting to get tired. This is my 3rd bucket right here by now. I know it is because I'm taking more breaks in between. But what I'm trying to tell you guys is stop listening to the negative crap online. Guys, if there's somebody around you who is panicked, who is gripped by fear, get the hell away from them. Run away from them. If they are your family, you got to tell them, hey, look, I'm sorry, brother. I love you, kid. I love you. But the truth is that you are just gripped by fear. And I don't want to be a part of that. Surround yourself with people that are being positive. People that are saying the right things. That are saying, you know what, we're going to get through this. This isn't that difficult. It's just an ebb and flow. There's an up and down to life. Things go up, things go down, things go up, things go down. It isn't very often that things stay the same, guys. Things go up and things go down. It's just the ebb and flow to life. It's the ebb and flow to your bank account. It's the ebb and flow to the weather, to temperature. It's just the way it goes. Things go up and things go down. The sun comes up and then it goes down, and then the moon comes up and then it goes down, and then the sun comes up and then it goes down. That's exactly the way life is. Everything is like that. So stop being gripped by fear, my friends. Stop allowing negative people to make you think that that's the way everything has to be. It isn't that way. It isn't that way. You've got to program your mind. Your mind is a computer. So what software are you programming into your computer? That's up to you. depending on what you're listening to and what you really like. But program your mind in a positive way so that you're constantly thinking discipline, positive, consistency, motivation, success, happiness, being proactive. You've got to change your vocabulary so that you're constantly thinking happy. You're constantly thinking forward. Don't stagnate. Do not stagnate. You know what happens with water, whenever it sits around and nothing happens to it? It becomes stagnant. It becomes pond scum. Don't be pond scum. I got that from Dave Ramsey. That's what he says. Yeah, it's going to ebb and flow. Roll with the punches, my friends. Roll with the punches, my amigos. Oh, yeah. So you can see I'm getting towards the end of this bucket. I hope you guys enjoy this. I don't have too much more to say. Sorry, this is a mega rant. I don't typically do this, but I wanted to give it a shot because it's not something that I usually do. I do enjoy it, and I think some people will definitely benefit from it. If you have benefited from it, please let me know. Let me know if this is something that you enjoy, something that you can use. Sorry, I've got my foot on the gas pedal the entire time, but that's just my personality. That's my energy. That's just the way it is. It's the way I feel because I fill my mind with positivity. Positivity. Consistency. Let's say some of those words, my amigos. Positivity. Consistency. Proactive. Discipline. Success. Motivation. Consistency. Positivity. Consistency. Proactive. Motivation. Hustling. Stick-to-itiveness. Practice. Consistency. Positivity. Discipline. Motivation. It's making me smile because it's reprogramming even my brain. I am so full of it because that's the way I've programmed my brain, and it just makes me smile because my brain is saying, like, what the hell are you doing, bro? But I know what I'm doing because this is the way my brain works because that's what I listen to. So let's go back to it. Consistency. Positivity. Consistency. Persistence. Motivation. Proactive. Success. Discipline. Persistent. Consistent. Proactive. Happy. Success. Successful. Stick-to-itiveness. Positivity. Consistency. That's all it is, my friends. You got to change your vocabulary. Change the things that you're listening to. Change the way you're thinking. Surround yourself with positive people. People that are working hard. People that want more. Consistency. Positivity. Discipline. Persistence. Stick-to-itiveness. That's all I got, my friends. I'm not going to get to the end of this bucket because I stopped recording and I started working on other things, which was B-roll. But be consistent, be positive, be happy. Things are going to be okay, my friends. Thanks so much for tuning in. I really appreciate it. I hope you work hard. I hope you're happy. I hope you smile today. Be happy, my friends. Everything is fantastic. It's going to be okay. Oh, yeah. That's it.